Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Today I will give the recap of previous class. In yesterday's class, sir have given a detailed description about why we need staff. Then sir gave two reasons about that why there should be staff. First, volume of work. Second, expertise. In volume of work, it was explained that sometimes there is a lot of work which cannot be handled by one alone. For that purpose or for better management of work of staff, we require a staff. Sir has given an example on this point that VC sir also have staff who can maintain the diary following. Example, personal secretary, which they have a lot of work to do. Second, expertise. Talking about expertise, experts are there for staff assistance and to provide advice. As sir has shared an instance that is a sales office, there was a statistician who kept record of sales of products and advise line managers about products that which product is doing better in the market to provide additional input. Then sir has asked a question that why manager should incorporate the advice of an expert. On that point, sir has given an example of a pending case of AME minority status in Supreme Court. In this case, VC sir cannot fight the case alone. For this, he required legal expert advice on that. Then it was discussed that experts can be outsiders or insiders. Then sir told us that expert advice is not compulsory on an individual, but generally in most of the cases, everyone accepts expert advice. In last, it was discussed that sometimes conflict arises between the managers and the experts. So in that case, the decision will be different from situation to situation, but mostly it is the expert's advice which got preference in business. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. That's all.
Okay, Siddhant.
Sir, shall I start?
Yes, Wahab.
Good morning, all of you. I am Abdul Wahab. Today I will present the recap of previous class. The previous class, we were started the discussion with the basic question, why do we need the staff? Here our sir was clearly explained the major two reasons for why do we need the staff. The first one is the first basic reason is the size or volume of the work. And the second one is the need of expert support. Here our sir will explain some examples of our university. Here our vice chancellor in our vice chancellor office have receiving n number of applications and complaints. Here they did not handle, they face some difficulty to handle and maintain the office in smooth way. That time they need the support of the staff members and the personal secretary also. Here the staff members should keeping the records of diary and making the smooth appointing of applications and complaints. After that they will send the applications and complaints to the VC's table. After that, he finalized the complaints and the application from the gatherings. Then we discuss about the expertise manner. Here our sir was explained his past experience in Tata Oil Mills Corporated Limited. He found an expert person in this company. He is doing a statistical work. He's find out the demand of a product and where it's move fast and where it's move uh, where it's where is the market is good for the product and where is the customer is the then he identify those things and they analyze the data and he passed the information to the sales managers, means his line managers. After that, the line managers should take some action with the quality and they get more good result with the help of his subordinates. Then our sir also give some examples of our vice chancellors filing a case in Supreme Court for minority problems arises in our university. That times also the VC need the support of legal cell from internal and the outside also. Here we identified the support of experts are must to make some action with the quality manner. Then we discuss about the finally we discuss about uh, a new company recruit a new person to his sales team. That times they need the support of HR executive. He those are very expert in that field. That's why we need the support of the HR team. They were examined physically and mentally those person and they may give some shortlisted for to the line managers. They were finalized the appointment. Here we understand the line managers should follow some expert support to expert suggestions and actions to smooth achieving of our organizational goal. That's all from my side. Thank you, sir.
Wahab and Siddhant, you did a reasonably good job, and I'm happy that you were able to follow the examples as also the
Thank you, sir.
discussion that arose out of those examples. And with the help of that, you were able to appreciate that when what is the role of staff authority in the organizations. And when we organize our efforts, which is the unit which we are covering, how we have to ensure that we do use staff when necessary, but we don't overuse it. Because once we overuse it, then again the potential for conflict will increase in the organization. So that was my key point which I have made, and I have already explained you the two situations which you have also explained, that only when the size demands, when the volume of work is so much, then only we should employ the staff authority. And especially when an issue is a naughty one and requires expert advice, then only we should employ the staff experts. So well done, both of you. Siddharth, maybe you need to work a bit more on your language flow, and that appeared to be a concern area or an area of improvement. You have a sufficiently good working command over language, I would say. But the issue is of fine tuning it further. And once you do it, it will improve your presentation skills. And Wahab, you tend to speak in a very clear cut manner and you speak slowly. Maybe you have to work a bit more on your pace of delivery. Okay.
Sure, sir.
So it was slightly lower paced, slow placed. So that is one area where you can work on. Now, coming to the next issue that we are going to discuss today in the context of this unit which we are discussing, the unit on organizing, and that is the issue of delegation and decentralization.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can
Yes,
we please finalize the presenters for the next class before
please do
you?
that.
Okay. Munawwir? Munawwir, can you please respond? Munawwir, I see you there on the list. Rishabh Bhardwaj? Supriya Chaudhary? Supriya Chaudhary? Supriya, I see you on the list. Can you please respond?
Ma'am, whenever it's here, whenever.
Reshu?
Present,
Who
ma'am.
is this? Okay.
Ma'am, whenever.
Okay, Munawwir and Supriya. So Munawwir and Supriya, you both shall present the recap in the next class. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Munawwar and Supriya.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was discussing the issue of delegation and decentralization in the context of organizing. We have already discussed different forms of organizations, whether the basis is product form or the functional form. And we also discussed the issue of power and authority. We talked about the two types of authority in the organization, the line authority and the staff authority. Now, once we have to get things done, the issue arises, how should we delegate the work? Because it would be a very poor management if the top person ends up doing everything. He has to create a system whereby the work is assigned to lower level in the decision hierarchy. So the first question that I want to ask to you before we proceed further on this issue, what do you think is delegation? You must have heard this term a number of times. So what do you think is delegation? Can we have the response of Munawwar or Supriya, who will be presenting recap? What is their basic idea of delegation? Munawar, are you there?
Division of work.
What do you think is delegation?
Division of work to employees by authority.
Division of work to employees. Okay. And Supriya? If this is delegation, Munawar, I will request you to think about what is decentralization then. We often use these terms also.
So maybe delegation is handing over authority from high level to lower levels, and
Mhm.
decentralization is the process when this delegation is repeated systematically again and again. Then maybe we achieve decentralization because we're handing over authority as well as responsibility to the lower levels.
Okay. So Zainab, you feel that when delegation is repeated a number of times, that
Yes,
becomes
sir.
decentralization?
Yes, sir.
Any other interpretation that might be coming to your mind? Is Supriya there, who is going to present the recap tomorrow? I would like to listen to her also. Dr. Zareen, is it Supriya Chaudhary whom we have assigned the job of recap tomorrow? Supriya, are you present? I see you have unmuted yourself. We are waiting for your response. If your mic is not working, you can write your response in the chat box. What do you think is delegation and what do you think is decentralization? Now let us, we are expecting your response in the chat box. In the meanwhile, let me share with you a few decision situations. Again, drawing heavily from the university's examples with which I am more familiar, and I hope many of you can also appreciate these ideas. When I was in the hostel and I was living in a hostel, Aftab hostel of the university, and when the issue of my allotment came, the applications were invited by the then warden of the hostel, and he, in consultation with the senior house monitor of the hostel, they scrutinized all the applications that were received for a room in the Aftab hostel. Many of you who may not have experienced the residential life of AMU, you may know that Aftab hostel happens to be a very premium kind of hostel of the university. For the simple reason, one, it is single seated. So once you get a room there, you are entitled for a single seated accommodation, which is naturally is something which is aspired to, especially those who are scholarly, uh, who have scholarly pursuits. Generally, they vie for a room in Aftab hostel. So, in this situation, actually, I received this then information from my senior house of the hall, who was a senior student of the hall of the hostel, that you have got an accommodation based on the points that were calculated, and I was given the room in the Aftab hostel. That's one situation and one mode of decision making which I observed as a student. But now, when you must have got admitted in the MBA program, those of you who are aspiring for a room in the Aftab, in a hostel, and you want hostel accommodation along with your MBA, what generally is then the procedure followed? I am told now the system is like this, that there is a central allotment committee, and it looks at different vacancy positions in the earmarked hostels, and then assigns a room depending on the availability, the space in a particular hostel. So the entire decision is now in the hands of the central allotment committee. What do you think are the implications of these two options which I have shared with you? So Supriya feels that decentralization is the final outcome of the process of delegation. So I think by and large we are clear on this account that delegation is an act of pushing down authority at the lower level, so that most of the decisions are taken at the point of intersection where the real action is. They say closer to the ground. So for example, if there is a issue of whether a defective product should be replaced or not, this decision has to be taken by the salesperson of the territory, for example. That would be delegation. So an act of pushing down authority to a lower levels in the organization is delegation. Now, when this delegation is a structural response, then this becomes decentralization. That means now decentralization is relatively permanent, a structural response, as I said. Now, I have described you these two situations where in the Aftab hostel, the senior house, who was a senior student, in consultation with the warden, used to decide as to who should get a room in the Aftab hostel or not. Vis-a-vis a situation where admission to a course, all the new entrants or even the older aspirants